Good afternoon, dear faculty members. So kindly wait for 2 to 3 minutes. We will start the session. We'll start exactly at 3:05. Kindly wait for 4 minutes. Good afternoon all. I hope you all doing well. We'll start the session for the day. Prashant sir, good afternoon.
Hey, Smita, good afternoon.
Yes, sir, you can take over the class. You can continue the class.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, hi everyone. Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Hope all of you all are doing great. So, welcome back once again, everyone, to our GenAI session. So, we will be able to go ahead and get started with our today's topic. So, yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen to all of you, and then we all can be able to proceed further. Okay, give me a minute. Let me quickly share my screen, and then we can be able to proceed further. Perfect. So, yeah, welcome back once again, everyone. So, as we discussed yesterday, right, like we were majorly focusing upon what exactly is generative AI, and we were focusing upon generative AI very specifically, right? It is the capability for us to generate the content, like it can be any text, image, audio, video. We can be able to go ahead and create all of them, okay, using artificial intelligence. So AI will be sitting at the back end where AI is going to assist us by providing all the relevant information, whatever is needed for us. Okay. So you ask any question into any of the Chat GPT or maybe Copilot or any tool in that matter, if I say, so it will be able to go ahead and help you out in getting all the relevant information, whatever is required. Okay, so that is basically the clarity which we all should basically be aware about. Okay, so this is one of the key point which we were being able to discuss as part of our yesterday's discussion. Okay, so now what is that we should be able to go ahead and understand here is like whenever you talk about generative AI. Okay, so you understood that what is its capability, and we got to know all of those points. Okay, as part of yesterday's discussion. And then we have taken an example like if you want to generate text, you have ChatGPT, you want to generate image, you have DALI, and then you have to, if you want to generate a code, you have GitHub. Okay, I mean, not only these tools, what I'm trying to say is you can be able to go ahead and utilize all of these mediums. Okay, so if you observe in this scenario, right, like you can use ChatGPT for code generation also, for generating text also. But the thing is, these are all designed specifically for their respective things. Like one for text, one for audio, one for video. Like this, it will be very much helpful for us to utilize it in a better manner. Then we moved into GenAI, understood that, hey, GenAI is helpful for me to create a new content like audio, image, text, code, video, so that it can be able to go ahead and generate the content appropriately for us. So this was one of the other discussion which we were all being able to very much focus upon, right? So this was one of the thing which we were able to go ahead and consider it. Okay, and then if you can see here, okay, this is your gen AI, okay, which is a type of AI where we can be able to generate whatever you want to create, and you want your AI model to ask, it will be able to go ahead and do that for you. And then later we moved into artificial intelligence, where I have explained to all of you here is like what is happening in this scenario. So we are trying to make sure that whatever the human like intelligence is present, right? We are trying to transform that human like intelligence to whom? To machines. So that machines also can be smart and intelligent like the human beings. That is what is your artificial intelligence, which we discussed yesterday. So we are trying to transfer human like intelligence into machines. So we are feeding the intelligence. It's not coming inbuilt. Like you learn from your experience, you learn after observing the society and all, right? In the same way, here what is happening to the machines, it is not something which it has the capability. What you're trying to do is you are transferring the intelligence which human has to machines. That is the reason it is artificial. It's not a real intelligence. For you, your intelligence, you are getting it through by exposing towards your society, understanding what is happening, by learning through a lot of experiences, whatever you have been able to accumulate till date, right? But here artificial intelligence is only going to make sure that whatever human like intelligence is present, that is just directly going to machines, that's it. Yeah, that is directly going to the machines. So when it is directly going to machines, so basically that is the reason we are here calling this as the artificial intelligence. You may ask me why we are not calling this as a human intelligence then. No, it is not. Directly, it's not human intelligence. You are just feeding that intelligence to machine. So machine only has the capability of whatever you say, it will be able to do that. But it doesn't have any emotion or it doesn't have any feelings. So that is the reason whatever intelligence you have in the machine is here classed as artificial intelligence. Or in short, we basically call it as the AI. Okay. Then Then we discussed that artificial intelligence, when we want to discuss, it's really a very broad field in the computer science. Okay, it's really a very broad picture which is available for us. It's really a big area within your computer science, your artificial intelligence. But the main goal of the AI, if I would consider, right, it is to create your intelligent or a smart systems. Okay, the main reason why we are using AI is to create an intelligent systems like any robot or a software where it can be able to go ahead and do the things which usually only the humans can be able to do it. But now machines are also having the capability to go ahead and do this. Okay, which may again typically require us the human like intelligence. So we need to go ahead and bring the human like intelligence into form so that we can utilize it in a better manner. That is how you can be able to implement the human like intelligence in the system without any constraints or difficulties. Okay. And then later we discussed about what is a machine learning, right? We were majorly focusing upon the machine learning part. So now when you talk about machine learning, right? Again, machine learning is also part of your artificial intelligence only. That is not something different. Okay. So whenever you specifically talk about machine learning is basically coming from the subset of your AI, which is your subset of artificial intelligence, if I would say. So when you talk about the machine learning here, machine learning is purely a subset of AI, or it's a part of artificial intelligence where its main focus is on creating some algorithms and models. Okay, so that these algorithms and models will actually make your machine learning to learn from the data whatever you are feeding, and it is going to give you a better predictions or decisions without being explicitly programming. I mean, instead of telling the computer exactly what to do in every situation, or instead of telling to your machine learning model that what it needs to do in every situation, the computer will learn the patterns from the data, and then it is going to use that knowledge to make all the decisions whatever is needed. Okay, that is how your machine learning is going to play here as a very, very important role. So that's the capability which our machine learning is been providing. As I explained to you yesterday, right? For an example, if you go ahead and show to your kid an apple, and then you go ahead and provide multiple fruits, your kid has been taught, right? So your kid can be able to go ahead and can immediately identify from the list of fruits that how an apple would look like, because you have trained your kid in such a way. Okay, but same is applicable even for your machine learning also. But the only difference is in machine learning, you can have multiple images of apples and it is going to learn on its own. The machine is basically going to learn on its own, that ultimately whatever the fruits you see here, right, it is able to go ahead and learn everything on its own. After it is going to learn, now nobody is going to make the machine educate. Only thing what you have to understand here is I need to give the data. Without giving the data, then you please do not assume that your machine has the capability to do everything. No, you give data, you give whatever the data you want to your machine, then your machine is having the capability to analyze that data to understand what it is needed, and then it is going to perform everything for you. But please do not expect that where your machine will automatically understand what you want. No, you give data, you feed whatever the data you want. Your machine will have the machine learning is going to have the capability that to analyze whatever you are asking based on whatever data you have already given to machine. So based on that, it will analyze the pattern and it is going to predict and finally going to give you the decision. Now let me say to my machine, I have given 50 images of apple. Okay. Now I'll say to my machine learning model, hey, please go ahead and determine what is apple here. So simply it will be able to go ahead and detect that, hey, this is an apple. Now, did you say that how apple look like to the machine? Or did you say how the features of the apple would actually look like? Answer is no. So definitely machine was able to go ahead and identify how the apple will look like, and then it is able to detect among the list of fruits that this is how the apple is going to look like. That's it. It was simply able to go ahead, detect the thing on its own, and then it is able to proceed further. So that is the capability of what we are today able to have here as a machine. Okay, that is a machine learning model. So for that, as I explained yesterday, you need a lot of training data. Just now I discussed with you, right? Why you need a lot of training data? Because as I said you, right, without giving information to your machine learning model, how will it be able to know what exactly you need it? So the more the data you have, the better the machine learning model can be able to learn. So you give a lot of training data to machine, it will automatically be able to train on its own so that next time when you ask anything, it has everything with it to give you a better response. Now, if the data itself you have not given to the machine learning model and you're expecting some great wonders for your machine learning to go ahead and do it for you, then that doesn't make sense. Okay. And then you have another thing called as the computational power. So computational power here means this is going to refer to the speed. Basically, with how much amount of speed are you going to deliver the result? Now I asked my machine learning model to give me a prediction. Now it says, okay, I'll give you prediction, but wait for 1 hour or 1 day or 5 days. Then that doesn't suit my criteria, right? So you need to make sure that the speed is such where you can be able to go ahead and can be able to determine the result in a better manner. So the whatever prediction or decision you're doing, that should be done in seconds. For that you need a good amount of speed. So that is your computational power. And then as I explained here, algorithms are very much needed where we are going to like provide the instructions, or we are going to tell the computer or the machine learning model that how to learn from the data. Now you may think or ask me, okay, in this scenario, see, this is all fine. Okay, you are giving data to the machine learning model and you are saying me that okay, your machine learning model will itself be able to train on the data whatever you were being able to give. Awesome. But how it is happening? If you really want to know that how this is happening, how come machine is able to learn on its own? Is it some magic or what? No, it's not a magic, right? Definitely cannot be a magic. It's a technology. So if your machine, whatever data you are being feeding to the machine learning model, right? If it is having the potentiality to go through all the images and then analyze on its own, get trained on its own, and then it is delivering the result to you. So how this is all happening at the back end? How come your machine learning model is having the capability to go ahead and then try to learn everything on its own or to get trained itself on its own without anybody's support? That is all because of the algorithms. Whatever algorithms are there, those are like your special programs or instructions which is going to tell to your machine learning model that how to learn from the data. So they are going to basically find out the patterns and then make the decisions. Okay, so in a very simple terms, I would say your machine learning is going to work in such a way when you have a lot of data, when you really have a very good amount of speed, and then the algorithms. Algorithms are nothing but the programs. Okay, do not get confused with what is algorithms. Algorithms are programs which are written using Python and R programming language. That is what is algorithm. Okay, so that algorithms are going to teach to your machine learning model that how to learn from the data. That's it. This is what we call machine learning. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now moving further to deep learning. Let's understand what is deep learning. Okay. So if you see here, right, deep learning is little interesting topic because here you need to know in a very detailed way. I mean, like how deep learning plays as a very, very important role in the entire process. Okay. So now if you see the image, okay, which I'm trying to share to all of you here, right? So basically, how this is going to work. So you see towards the left hand side, there is a human brain called as the neurons. So in our brain, right, in our human brain, we have billions of tiny cells which are called as neurons. Now these neurons are connected to each other, okay, in our brain, which will actually help us to think, learn, and to make decisions. Now today, you are taking decision as a human being based on the scenario. So how you are able to take the decision? Because your mind will say you either to go or not to go, right? So your neurons will somewhere or the other contribute in such a way where it will make you think, where you are going to learn what decision you are taking, and then finally you are going to take the decision. So here there will be multiple neurons in the brain like this. You are going to have multiple neurons in a brain what is going to happen when one neuron sends a signal to another one, right? It is like our brain is processing the information. So whatever information we are sharing, that information will get processed by your neurons, where it will send the signal from one neuron to another neuron, like a, it's like a distributed network. Okay, and then you are going to see that your brain is going to process all the information whatever you want it. That is how neurons are going to play here as a very, very important role. So the point to be noted over here is, whenever you want to go ahead, transmit any of the like messages, or you want to go ahead and transmit any of the information here, your neurons is going to play here as a very better role, if I would say. That's the purpose of the human brain. In the human brain, if you're not aware, you should be knowing that in your brain you have neurons, and those neurons are going to contribute you for all your thinking, learning, and to make the decisions. And all your neurons are interconnected in such a way that it is going to process all whatever information your brain takes it out. So let me say, sometimes when we deliver the content, your students may say you that, ma'am or sir, like we are done, I mean we are not able to process the information anymore. That means they have exhausted the neuron capacity, saying that okay, that's it, I cannot take anything more than this. Same. All these are happening in the neurons only, which is being there in your human brain. Okay, with you, me, every one of us are having it. Now, what is deep learning? Why am I trying to talk about neurons, human brain? This is not a like a science class, right? This is basically we are talking about the deep learning, but there is a close connection for it, due to which we are specifically talking about it. So what is happening is deep learning here. Okay, so whatever deep learning is present, right? This deep learning is the very essence or the very core topic of the deep learning is that, okay, so we want to transfer the neurons of the human brain, like how we have our own neurons, like a structure, right? In the same way, I also want to create a neural network in the machine. Like how human brains has the have the neurons in their brain, in the same way deep learning is saying that I am very much focused on how to create a neural network within the machine, so that machines also can be able to have the same neural network as how human brains are actually having it. Why this thought process? Because as a human beings, we are the most intelligent species. That is what we learned, right? Now when you are bringing the human like capabilities, like how a human brain works, onto the machine, then machine will definitely be able to have a greater value. That is the reason deep learning is saying that, okay, I am going to be responsible for transforming the neuron like structure into machines, which I can be able to call it here as a neural network. So neural network is basically a model that is going to work like the human brain. So instead of neurons, here we have neurons, right? Instead of neurons, here it has a layer of units that are connected to each other. That is hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, hidden layer 3. These are called layers. In our brain, we call neurons. Okay, but here we call hidden layers. Okay, that neuron network is basically called here as the layers in this case. So what is the layer? Let us understand. First is input layer you have here. Input layer means this is where the neural network gets all the information or the data to process. Okay, input layer here is, this is the platform or a place where you see that your neural network is going to get all the information or the data for you to process. That is basically your input layer. Okay, and then you have hidden layers. Hidden layer is nothing but these are the layers where you see that all the information is going to be processed, where you can pass it through multiple steps which are present here. Just like how the neurons pass the signals in the human brain, right? In the same way, here also you have the hidden layers. Okay, so within these hidden layers, you can see that you can be able to pass all the information through the multiple steps which are being present here, just like how neurons pass signals in the brain. And then you have the finally the output layer. So output layer, this is where your neural network will give you the final result or decision after processing all the information which is needed for you. That's it. This is how the model is basically going to work. So overall, what is that I'm trying to let you all know here is, you have a neural network. Okay, we are transforming the neuron like structure into a machine, but in the machine here also you see, right, every layer is interconnected to each other like a mesh, like how our neurons are interconnected to each other. In that way here everything is interconnected. Okay, so now what is happening? Input layer. Input layer means this is where your neural network will get the information. Like what information it has to process. Like for an example, I will ask you what is generative AI. Then what you will do? Okay, knowingly or unknowingly, when you listen the question from me, right, immediately your brain will trigger saying that, okay, what I learned already yesterday. Okay, I learned generative AI means it is a process of creating the image, text, audio, video by using the AI. How are you answering this without seeing? You are answering this because in your brain, whatever neurons are there, it understood the question, it triggered immediately, and it is letting you know that please say this answer. Same. Input layer means if anybody asks any question, that will get processed, how it is getting processed in your human brain with the help of the neurons in the machine. The input layer is the question, and then it gets processed through multiple layers. You may ask me, why do I need multiple layer like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3? I can have one layer and can do everything there, right? The answer is no. So you can also think in that way, right? In your human brain, you can have only one neuron. Why so many neurons to be present? The only reason is if you have multiple layers, right? If you have multiple layers, you can take the data and can process it across multiple layers without any difficulties or concerns. Okay, you have here multiple layers. You can take the data and can be able to add it across multiple layers without any constraints or difficulties. That is the significance of it. So whatever the layers you see here, right, more the number of layers, more will be the chance for you to get an accurate data. Imagine, like, I want to create a data, I created it. Okay, then I sent it for the validation for all of you, like who all are there in the meeting, right? I have sent it to all of you that data. Now you all will validate. Obviously, when you validate and give me the data, right, that data will have a greater value because it is now being like discussed and thought in everyone's perspective. Okay, I did not create the data in my, I mean, I created it in my own perspective, but when I shared with others to validate it, they will also share their own perspective and the data will become much refined or much better with a better suggestions. So that is what is the hidden layer. So when you have only one hidden layer, that means your data which is coming out may not be very accurate. But if you have multiple layers like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, right? If you have multiple layers like this, that means you have the capability to process the data in better manner. Okay, and if you have much more layers like this, that is going to be much better for you. More the layers, more accurate will be the data. Less the layer, less accurate your data is going to be. Okay, so this is one of the very important point we all have to consider it. Okay, so when you have multiple layers being present, it is going to help you out in all the different ways where you can be able to consider all the information whatever you want. And then finally you have the output layer. After processing the information whatever you asked here as input, then it is going to come as an output where you can see the response in a much better and in a refined manner. And you know, in ChatGPT, when you're asking question, or in your Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, or Google Gemini, you go and ask any question. You know, at the back end, what is happening? This is what is happening. Whatever you learned right now, this is what is happening at the back end. I mean, till now, you don't have that clarity, right? What happens at the back end or how things actually work. This is how things are going to work. Okay, so input layer is the question which you ask on the ChatGPT platform. Then your ChatGPT will take that question, whatever you were being able to ask, it will send it to multiple layers over here, like your hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, hidden layer 3. These are your layers where every layer is going to process your question, whatever you asked. It is going to see the best result which it can be able to provide to you. All the three different layers will be working on that. And finally, if they get the best, they will send it as an output layer. And that is when you will be able to see the response. So even though process looks little big, but actual time when it takes for completion of this is like within seconds. That is the reason when you ask a question, right, it takes a little gap, a very small, minute millisecond gap. within that millisecond or within seconds, you will see that at the back end, whatever the neural network is there, it is transforming everything and then it is trying to trigger the result for you. Okay, so that is how you need your input layer where you can be able to go ahead and get all the data, whatever you want. You can just get that in your input layer. Then you have your hidden layer where you have multiple hidden layers to process your information by passing it through multiple layers which are being present, like how neurons pass the messages across multiple neurons right here. From one point to another point, it sends the messages so that you get the best response, and then you try to talk that out or you try to call that out, whatever response you have. Okay. In the same way, here also you have again here the output layer. So output layer is where you see the neural network will be able to give you the final result or the decision after it processes all the information. Okay. So basically, in a very simple way, if I would say, just like how our brain uses neurons, right, to process the information and to make the decisions, in the same way, a neural network here is using a layer of connected units, which are nothing but you see hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, hidden layer 3, to do the same thing, but with the data. Okay. You ask data means anything can be a data. Whatever you're asking as a question is also data only. So you ask the question, okay, then that will be taken up as an input layer. Then that input layer will be sending it to multiple hidden layers where that is going to process whatever the question you asked, and it is processing because it wants to give you the better response and the correct response. Okay. Once that is completed, okay, once that is been completed successfully, right? Then what is going to happen ultimately once it the hidden layers are able to process all your information, then it is going to go to the output layer. That is where you see that your neural network will be giving you the final result or the decision after processing all the information. That's how your deep learning is going to work. Okay, and if you see here, right, the very definition of the deep learning. So now you can consider it in a better manner. So basically, when you talk about deep learning, right, deep learning is a part of your machine learning. Whatever we discussed previously, right, deep learning is connected to your machine learning. And it basically focuses, as you see, right, on teaching the computers to learn and to make the decisions by using a specific type of model which we call neural network, like as I said you right here, neural network. This is a neural network. Now you may ask me, are we only going to have 3 layers or 2 layers? It is up to you. More the number of layers, okay, what you have to understand here is, like, if you have more number of layers, directly proportional, okay, more number of layers is directly proportional to your clarity of data. Okay, if you have more layers, the clarity of data is going to be better. If the layers are very less, then clarity is also going to be a little bit less in the scope. Okay. So that is how neural network is going to play a very important role, which is inspired by whom? Human brain. So basically, these neural networks, as I mentioned, they are being inspired by the how the human brain is going to work with multiple layers of the processing units. Okay, where you can learn from data and you can be able to move ahead. So basically, what is deep learning? Deep learning is again a more advanced version of machine learning where it is going to use your neural network to help the computers learn from large amounts of data, like much like how our brains learn from experience, right? How we will like allow our brain to make the decisions or predictions in a very effective manner. In the same way, deep learning also will be using its neural network where it has multiple layers. It will process the information and then it is going to give you the best output. Okay, so that you all can see the results in a better manner. So this is how you can be able to play around with the deep learning model. Okay. So this is very, very important because as long as you don't know deep learning, right, you cannot correlate the generative AI because generative AI is totally dependent on deep learning only. It has come from deep learning. That is the reason I've given you an example here, right? ChatGPT also works in this way, which you will not be able to see. It's like a backend. It's like a backend. Like you see any application, you take any application, okay? So what happens whenever you take any application, right? Will you be able to see the backend code for Swiggy, Uber, Ola, Zomato? No, right? You have a nice user interface. You order the food or you book a cab, right? So that's what you can do because that's your UI. But at the back end, what is happening? You don't. Only the organization who developed it only knows about it. Same, ChatGPT is developed by a company called as OpenAI, and they will run all of these things at the back end. I mean, you don't need to do anything on your own in order to process or to get any information over here. But at the back end, how it works is what I'm trying to give you here as an idea. Okay. At the back end, how the model is going to work, it is with the model which I'm trying to explain to all of you right now here. It has multiple hidden layers. It has an input layer. It has an output layer. And then I'm saying you, more the number of layers, more will be the accurate information. Less the number of layers, less accurate your data is going to like come out as an output. Okay. So this is the clarity which each and every one of you should be aware about. Okay. So this is the core point which I just want to make sure that you all are pretty much aware of it. Okay. So, and then later when we were been looking into the definition of the technology, like a deep learning technology, right? See here, as I was referring to all of you, this is basically again a subset of your machine learning. Okay, where it is focusing majorly on what aspect to learn and make the decisions by processing the data through neural network, which has been inspired by the human brain. Because ultimately they are trying to transform the human brain neuron like structure into the machine so that machines can also be able to think like human beings. Not with emotion and feeling, but at least some part they are trying to target it. That is what is your deep learning. Now, taking you further, if you have a look into it in a very clear manner over here, whatever we discussed, right? Just have a look into it for a minute. Just see what is AI, what is ML, what is DL. This is what we completed right now. So by seeing the definition or whatever is being highlighted on the slide, I could sense that you all can correlate and can understand that what is actually being discussed right now. So please have a look into it, everybody. Okay, if you would have seen here, right, it is very clear. Okay, if you see here, in this scenario, just give me 1 minute. Okay, I hope that you all have got a chance to look into it. So now when you talk about the artificial intelligence here, so artificial intelligence is the very bigger and broader concept it is. Okay. where AI includes everything related to creating intelligent systems that can perform the tasks like a normal, how a human intelligence is needed, right? In that way, you can use your artificial intelligence where it will typically work like a human like intelligence. It's a very broader area, if I would say. Then you have here your machine learning. Again, this is a little smaller circle inside your AI. So inside your AI, you have your machine learning, where this is going to represent a specific part of your AI, which will be focusing majorly on teaching the computers to learn from whatever data you have given to it. And then it is going to make the decisions without being any explicitly programmed for every task. It has the capability that where you send the data to machine learning, it will be able to understand and will read everything on its own without creating any difficulty for any one of you. That is how machine learning basically works. Then you have within it a deep learning. So inside the machine learning circle, there is again a very small circle representing the deep learning. Now, this is even more specialized version of your machine learning where it focuses on the neural networks, which is inspired again by the human brain to process all your data and to make the decisions. Okay. And now, if you see, this is where your generative AI will come into the picture. So finally, inside your deep learning, there is again a circle, even smaller circle for generative AI. So this shows that your generative AI is a subset of your deep learning where it is being specialized in focusing on what all things in creating new content, like as we learned what it may be, that it may be your text, it may be your images, again it may be your audio, video, or music, all of these things. So you can be able to create this new content using the generative AI. So basically, in a very simple terms, if I would say, your generative AI is a part of deep learning. Again, deep learning, which is a part of machine learning. Machine learning, which is a part of larger field called as artificial intelligence. So each circle here, which is representing a very specialized area within the broader picture called as the AI, artificial intelligence. That's it. So this is the utmost clarity which every one of you should be knowing. When people say generative AI, they don't know the head, they don't know the tail, that how it actually came up. This is how it has arrived. This is the very first thing which everybody of you should be able to know, that whenever you classify or whenever you go and call yourself as a generative AI expert, you should very first be knowing that from where is this generative AI has actually come from. This is the journey which we have gone through right now. This is the journey with which we were being able to go through right now. You have your artificial intelligence as a broader field. Then you have your machine learning present over here, which is again a small circle within your AI where it is responsible for prediction and a decision making model. Then you have a deep learning, which is underneath your machine learning. Okay, so deep learning is actually having a neural network which has been inspired by the human brain like structure. And then your generative AI is a subset of your deep learning. Okay, because within your generative AI, you can always be responsible for creating a new content, like that it may be text, image, audio, video, music, all of these things you can be able to do it. So this is how your entire journey of your generative AI has arrived. It's not like on one fine blue moon that ChatGPT has come up and just because generative AI is very popular. No, generative AI is very popular because it has a long journey coming with it. First AI came, then your machine learning came, then your deep learning came, then came your generative AI. That is when it became famous. Agreed. It became famous because through ChatGPT. That I will agree with every one of you. ChatGPT today has made very popular the generative AI. But otherwise, generative AI has its own journey, like as you can see on my screen right now. It started with AI, it started with ML, then it went to DL, and then finally the generative AI. Hope that you all had a very good understanding about it. I hope that you don't have any confusion between what is AI, what is ML, what is DL, and then what is generative AI. Hope that it is clear to each and every one of you. So this is how you should be able to understand the concept overall. Okay. So now taking you further down the line here, conventional AI system. So conventional AI system is meant for what? Okay. First of all, you should know what is conventional AI. Conventional AI means the one which is not generative AI. Like you see here, right? Your ML, your machine learning, your artificial intelligence, your deep learning to little bit. Okay. So those are your conventional AI, old AI system. Matlab. Okay. So now old AI system. Okay. If you see here, you have input data. Now, what is going to happen here? The process is going to start with input data. See, for everything, one common thing you have to blindly follow is you talk about AI, you talk about ML, you talk about DL, you talk about generative AI. Everybody is dependent on data. One common answer for all of them is everybody is dependent on data. Until you do not give the data, they cannot be able to do anything for you. Yeah, after you give the data, they become very smart. The prerequisite here is you have to give the input as a data. The moment you give the input as a data, then they are going to be super smart and they are going to give you all the responses, whatever is needed. Okay. So right now, if you see here in this scenario, when you are going to give anything as your input data, this is the information that you give it to your AI system. Like it may be input data can be anything, that it may be you are giving input data as a text, or you are giving a couple of images, or you are giving some numbers. It can be anything. I'm just putting some random things here, but the data can be anything. It never had a restriction saying that, hey, I will only take number or I will only take text. You can give anything as a data. Input data can be anything, whatever you want to give it to your AI system. Nobody is going to stop you in that matter. Okay. So in that way, you can be able to provide whatever the data is needed here. Now, then what AI is going to do? The AI will process the data. Whatever the data you are giving as an input data, here the processing of the data is going to happen through artificial intelligence. How it can be able to do? Because of algorithms. If you would have, I mean, if you know, right, when I was explaining, I said all of this is intelligent or capable enough because of the algorithms only. So here the AI system is going to process all your data using various algorithms and then your techniques. And that is been represented here as your AI. Okay, which is like a brain. For the entire system, this works like a brain where it processes all your data and then your algorithms are going to help you out based on whatever data you have provided. Then it will be able to go ahead and give us the output. Output can be in any of the ways. There are different ways after the input is being processed by the AI using algorithms, right? Then your output can be in any of the ways. Like after the processing is done successfully, then your results can be like one, it can be prediction, right? Where it will forecast the data for you. Okay, whatever input you have provided, based on that, it is going to forecast. That is what we call prediction. Or otherwise it can be able to classify the data, like where it can sort the data into multiple categories. Okay, if you want to classify your data into categories, right, like then also it can be able to help you out. Then clustering means you are grouping the data. Okay, you will group similar data into one single place. Clustering means that you are going to bring a group of data into one place and then you will accumulate everything there. And then you have your NLP, which is your natural language processing. This is about understanding and processing the human language. Okay, natural language processing means it's like a English, like understanding and processing, which basically the human can understand. Okay, and then computer vision. Computer vision means it is the capability of analyzing and understanding the visual data. Like if you are adding any visuals, right? Like it can be images or it can be videos. It can be able to generate for that. So even those type of computer vision also can be done. So basically in conventional AI, what happens? You input the data can be of the any form, and then you have the AI in between sitting where it will process all your data, and then it will use its own algorithm to help you out to predict the data or to classify your data or to cluster your data or to make it use as a natural language processing, or it will use at a computer vision where it will create images or videos. Okay, so all of these capabilities are already present. Now you may ask for all, or you may go with any one also. That is up to you. You may go with all, or you may go with any one which is needed for you so that you can handle it in a better manner. That is how your conventional AI is going to work. Okay. Then what difference the conventional AI is making when you compare the same with your generative AI? Okay, that we will understand it. But before that, this is how it will work. See, this is your lot of training data. The same thing I'm showing it here in the picture. See, this is your lot of training data where you're giving multiple apples over here. Okay. Then in here, who is sitting? Your machine learning model. Okay. Here, your machine learning model is sitting over here. Okay. Now this machine learning model will take all your data. Okay. And it is going to train on its own with whatever algorithm is written. So based on that, it will be able to train on its own. Once the training is completed on its own, like once it gets fully equipped with all the training and everything, then it is going to predict. Okay, this is a prediction. This type is called as the prediction. So you gave two fruits. Now it will be already it has learned from whatever data you have been able to give it to the machine learning model, right? So now it will go ahead and predict. So now it is apple. Basically, it's going to be the apple because it has learned from the data whatever you sent and it will predict it. This is one of the type. This is how the model is going to work. This is a conventional AI model. Just here I have shown you the content. Here is the picture. Okay, so this is how the machine learning model can be able to predict based on whatever the data which it has been trained with on its own with the help of the algorithm rather than anybody sitting and making the machine train. Okay, now when you talk about the generative AI system here, okay, the capability between the conventional AI and generative AI is that in generative AI also this part remains the same, nothing changes over here. I said you right. AI means data is needed. Doesn't matter whether it is AI, ML, DL, or Gen AI. Everybody is dependent on input data. So that we cannot ignore. So that is the model which we always need to follow. So there is no doubt in that. Okay. But now the thing is, whenever you are able to go ahead and input the data, okay, then what is going to happen here? You have in this case GenAI. So what it is going to do is your GenAI is only having the capability to generate the text, image, audio, video, and the code part. So now, if anyone asks you a question, okay, or maybe you yourself can be able to think through. For an example, if I have been given a chance that where I have added a data into a model, okay, but now what I want to see is the prediction, okay, or a classification. Then which type of AI do I need to use? Will the generative AI be helpful in that case? To me, the answer is no. Because generative AI capability is not to predict or not to classify any of the data. Its main responsibility is to generate you text, image, audio, video, or code. That is the main capability of the generative AI. Now, if you want any prediction or classification, then you have to go to your conventional AI system. Okay, the conventional AI system is going to help you out in predicting, in classifying, in clustering, and then in NLP and computer vision. Many people don't know the clarity here. What people will think AI means it is always generative AI only. No, that is not the case. If you really want to predict or you want to classify any data, then you have to go to machine learning. You don't have any other option there. But if you really want to generate any text, image, audio, video, or code, anything as such, then generative AI will be the right solution for you. So it is up to you based on the case study or based on the situation, how you want to implement or how you want to utilize it. Accordingly, your generative AI system is going to work for you. Okay. It is not again like some something like you want to classify or you want to predict the data, you are coming and implementing it in generative AI, then you will not get the best solution out of it because that is not meant for that. Generative AI is not meant for predicting or classifying. Generative AI is only for generating the text, image, audio, video, code, all of these things. That's it. But coming to the previous conventional AI system, conventional AI is meant for all your prediction, classification, grouping the data called as clustering, NLP, natural language processing. Like you have sent a lot of data and you want to convert that into English, and then computer vision. where it can create some visuals. Visuals means reports and all of those things. Like in Excel, we have reports and all, right? So we can be able to implement it. That's how conventional AI is going to work for all of us. So basically, this is all the clarity which we all should be aware about between the conventional AI and the generative AI. See, this is the capability of the generative AI. So now again, here also you are sending the lot of training data. Okay, if you can observe over here, in this case also, I am able to go ahead and send a lot of training data. Okay, where it is going right now, this is to the GenAI model. GenAI model means, do not get confused. It is your ChatGPT, okay, or your Microsoft Copilot, or it may be your Google Gemini. Those are your GenAI models. Okay, so do not get confused with it. Okay, the beauty of the generative AI, you know what it does? It will definitely, this also learn through the training data. It also has its own algorithms, which is not visible to you. Okay, all these tools are having their own algorithms present with it. Okay, so what is happening currently is all of these algorithms are getting created appropriately, and now your Gen AI model has the capability to create a new apple. To here, it has a capability for you to create a new apple over here. So again, very important point, very, very important. Maybe little confusion would have been there here, but I'll make it very clear to you. Okay. So I will just say how it works this one. In the machine learning, what happens? You give a lot of training data, like multiple apples. Then your machine learning model will take all those apples. And if somebody asks, hey, can you predict or can you guess how the apple will look like? It will go ahead and predict and it will say, hey, this is how apple looks like. Great. That's how machine learning works because it's meant for prediction and decision model. But now, if I go a little bit further down the line here, in the Gen AI model, what is happening? It has a lot of apple, right? It is not saying that, hey, this is how the apple will look like. Let me say you have submitted 50 apples to your Gen AI model. Now somebody asks, hey, create a new apple for me. Or let me say, it will say, create an apple. Okay, so please do not think that Gen AI model with 50 apples, whatever is there, okay, let me take one and give it to you. That is never going to happen. Gen AI is going to create a new apple. It understood how the apple looks like, and on top of that, it will be responsible to create a new apple. It's not like it will take one apple from the list of apples which it has and will try to dump it to you. No, it never does. Not only in Apple, in any content you go and ask, it is always going to generate a new content for you. It is always going to play a very important role in such a way. Okay, it will generate a new content. When I say new content means, see, whatever it has been trained with, the data remains the same. But when you ask a question, it will give you the response, okay, in a very new way. Like let me say for an example, the main topic, like what is natural language processing, I'll ask. It will give me right answer. Okay, it will never give me wrong. But the thing is, it is going to give me in a very unique way. You wouldn't have find this anywhere over the internet. That is the capability of generative AI. You will not find that in internet. I don't know how many of you would have tried. You try to create an image using ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini. You try to create any image. Okay, so basically what happens, those images you'll never be able to see it in internet if you closely observe it. Because GenAI model always tries to generate a new content or a new image or a new video or a new audio or a new code which you will not be able to see in most of the different places. So this is very, very important, which all of you should basically be able to consider it. Very important. Why I am trying to highlight it, okay, multiple times here in this case is because if you observe here very clearly in this scenario, when there is a lot of training data being going right to the Gen AI model, people assume, anyhow the model is trained with a lot of data, right? It may be giving from there anyone. No, no, no. Definitely it is dependent on that data, but the response which it is giving to you is always new. It's not something which is being taken and then dumping it onto you. That is the reason you ask the same question 2 to 3 times in ChatGPT. What is NLP? It will give you first one, answer will not change, the wordings will change. Second time you ask again what is NLP, we'll see the practical also. You will see same answer, but wordings will be different. Because every time you ask question to GenAI model, it will always give you the new responses. That is the capability of the GenAI model, where it is meant for generating new content, like anything, whatever you are going to ask. So that is the example here. You may give list of 100, 50, 2000, how many ever apples to your Gen AI model, but your Gen AI model here will be responsible to create the image which is totally new. When I say new, don't think that it will lose the shape of the apple or how it looks like. That is what it is being trained with, right? There are 50 apples. It knows how the apple looks like. So it will create exactly same like apple only. It is not going to change the shape or change the way how apple looks like or change the color. No, 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 no. It knows how it works. It knows that how the apple looks like. It will go and create it in the same way to you, which is totally unique in nature. That is the clarity which all of you should be able to be aware about. Okay. So this is how Gen AI works. Then how machine learning works? What machine learning is doing? Machine learning is only predicting, classifying, clustering, natural language processing, computer vision. It is not creating anything new to you over here. Okay. It's not creating anything new in this scenario. It is just simply able to go ahead and classify the data and predict the data and give you. So for a prediction and classification, you need whatever the data which you're dependent upon, right? You are not creating anything new from here. That is your conventional AI. But in generative AI, what is happening? You're always responsible to generate a new text, image, audio, video source code. This is the clarity which I want to make sure that you all should be aware about. Okay. Hope that it makes sense to each and every one of you, whatever we were being able to discuss till now. Okay, so this is the maximum clarity which each and every one of you should basically be aware about, like how overall it is going to work. Okay. Now, what are the key takeaways from here, from the like deep learning? Okay, if you see, right, what are the key takeaways? The key takeaways are that machines are being trained on large volume of data. This is common. If you see, when I was talking about AI, when I was talking about machine learning, when I was talking about deep learning, and right now generative AI, you take any of them, all of them are excessively being dependent on the large volume of the data. Okay, excessively, they are all being dependent. Each and every one of the machines are being totally dependent on the large volume of data which is said to be present. Okay. And then again, we also said we need high computational power. High computational power means what? Speed. This is also one of the common point, because as I said you, right, you ask anything to your model, it may be chat gpt or a copilot, and if it is giving you a response after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, will you be able to use the tool? Because you lose patience when you ask question, especially to a machine. So definitely you expect the response to be within seconds. If it is not being able to give you the response within seconds, then you will start losing interest and you will leave the tool. So that is the reason here we need really high computation power with a good amount of speed, so that you can process all the information and can be able to take it up everything appropriately. So that is a core point which we all should basically be aware of. And then later we are again proceeding here to move towards the conversational and contextual understanding. Okay. See, conversational and contextual understanding. Okay, if you would have used Chat GPT, you would have understood this, what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'll make it very simple to all of you. Okay. Shift to conversational and contextual understanding means, let me say, I will say, what is AI in my Chat GPT? Okay, just for an example. This is my first question. Now, my Chat GPT will respond to me, automation industry. Okay. It is giving automation industry is doing great. Okay. Now it gave me this response. Now I'll say, oh, why it is giving me automation industry? I asked what is AI, right? In my mind, I was thinking artificial intelligence. Just because in your mind you're thinking that it is artificial intelligence, that doesn't mean that your chat GPT will also think that it is artificial intelligence only. It can go and give you some other random content which you may totally get shocked. But you're not happy. You're not happy because I was expecting that it gives me artificial intelligence. But now it turned out to be that it gave me an automation industry. Okay, so I mean, I don't want this. I mean, I'm not interested to go through this automation industry and then get to know all of this information. So I'm not happy. Then what I will do, I'll say, hey, what is, I understood that you did not get to know what is AI. So now I will say specifically, what is artificial intelligence? Now it will be able to go ahead and say me a better answer that, hey, your AI is a human-like intelligence. It's going to give me the answer. Okay, so this is conversational. This is what we call conversation. Okay, the first one, conversational means you asked a question. Okay, you didn't get your desired response. Then again in the same chat, you can ask by making it very clear, then it is going to give you the response. Sometimes what happens is when you asked what is artificial intelligence, now what happened? It gave you right answer. But again, you want little descriptive. So you will say to ChatGPT, please make it descriptive, or please make it easy, something like that. Okay, please make it easy. You're still not understanding, you can say please make it easy. Like this, within your chat gpt or any platform, you can be able to go and conversate. You can conversate and can get the response. It's not like once you are asked and you're done with it and you will not be given the chance. Okay, so it is always like you are being given a medium or a chance to conversate and then can be able to get the relevant responses. Okay, so basically here, conversational means I want to make it very clear to all of you that whenever you want to have any conversations, okay, whenever you are actually going to be part of those conversations, right, you have to understand it in a very clear manner that it is not once you ask question and you are happy or you're leaving it away. You can still conversate, still can be able to get the better responses out of it. So that is the clarity which we all should basically be aware about whenever we want to ask any questions very specifically. So this is the clarity which I just want to make sure that you all are aware about. Okay. Then context understanding. Context understanding means what? Now, for an example, if I go and ask you, okay, so right now if I ask you a question, what is AI? I know all the people who are there in the meeting will talk about artificial intelligence only because you know the context in which I'm asking the question. I may say what is AI. I'm not even specifying to all of you what is artificial intelligence. I'm simply saying what is AI. But as a human beings, we are all intelligent enough. So we know, okay, the context is generative AI. So probably I'm asking about what is AI is artificial intelligence only. So you are smart. Same way, ChatGPT is also smart. So now you asked what is artificial intelligence. Then later, after some time, in the same chat, you ask again what is AI. It will never say it is automation engineering or it is automation industry. It will never say that. It will never be able to go ahead and say that to you. Now it will understand, oh, okay, already in the same chat, you're discussing about artificial intelligence for a very long time. So definitely then it is artificial intelligence only. So I understand then it will be able to give you all the answers, even though you put a short form like AI. It also has the capability to understand the context. Okay, it also has the capability to understand the context, whatever has been you have been discussing in the chat. So same as like human beings. As I just gave you an example, right? If I ask you what is AI, automatically you will understand that as we are learning generative AI, so you'll say artificial intelligence. Okay. In the same way, when you have been discussing on any one topic in the chat, and if you start using short terms like this, then it will automatically understand the context and will give you the relevant response. It's always going to give you the relevant response. That is contextual understanding. These are very small words, but this has a lot of significance in the chat GPT or in any other LLM tools, not only in chat GPT. The same applies even in Copilot and Gemini also. Okay, so conversational here means you are being given the capability to conversate as much as you can. Okay, that means you can conversate in one chat, which I'll show you right now. Okay, and then contextual understanding. So contextual understanding means your chat GPT also can understand the context and can give you the better responses with regards to it. Okay, so this is the clarity which we all should basically be aware about. Okay, hope that this makes sense to each and every one of you. Okay, I hope that till here everybody is clear with whatever information we were being able to discuss. Okay, so now I will be able to go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that you get to know slowly right now into ChatGPT, because whatever concepts are at least needed now, you are very much familiar with it. You know what is AI, you know what is machine learning, you know what is deep learning, you know what is generative AI, you know what is the difference between conventional AI and the generative AI. So these are all are the points which we were being able to discuss till now. This, until you do not know this clarity, you may do great things in ChatGPT, but you never know the foundations or the basics. But that is what we made it right now very clear, so that you all can perform in a better manner. So that's the point we all have to consider over here. Okay, so now let's enter into the chat GPT world. Okay, this is basically, I would say that it is your chat GPT world in this scenario. Okay, so we need to understand here that how ChatGPT is going to play as a very important role. What are all the different things which are being present as part of it? So these are certain things which we all should be very much clear about. Okay, like how things are working, and again, what are all the things which are being part of this. So these are very important. Like when you talk about the chat GPT very specifically. Okay. So we need to know that how chat GPT internally is going to work. I'm not going to say that you ask a question, chat GPT will give you the answer. That everybody, without even me explaining, I know that most of you are already pretty much aware about it. Okay, so I don't need to again specifically call that out if I would be able to say. Okay, so at least I am pretty much sure that at least you all are aware that much. Okay, so now, but what I am going to talk to all of you here is, if you see in this case, ChatGPT is a language model which is being developed by which organization? OpenAI. And it is designed in such a way that it can understand and can generate the human like text. Okay, so if you would have observed very carefully why ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini has become so popular today, why machine learning, deep learning have never become popular. It is popular, but not as popular as your chat GPT or your Copilot or Gemini. If you would have thought about it in a very detailed way, you should be able to get an answer that your machine learning, if you want to interact with your machine learning model, if you really want to interact with your deep learning model, you need algorithms. You need to know how to run the algorithms. You need to know how to interact with your algorithm. You were never been given a chance to ask anything in English and you get the response. That was never been done previously. But now, if you see, your chat GPT is a language model where it is going and giving you human like text. I mean, you can just ask anything random, and that too, you're not, nobody is asking you to write a program to go and ask anything. If that would have been the case, then nobody would have shown interest. That where you write a program and after that the program you have to interact with it, then many people would have said, okay, I don't want it. But the beauty of the chat GPT, which we all have to understand in this scenario here is, so it is designed to understand and generate the human like text, especially in a conversational context. Conversational means like how you talk to a human beings. In the same way, you can be able to talk to your chat GPT by asking all the relevant questions. You're not satisfied, ask some more. But you keep asking in your own natural language, it is going to able to go ahead and give you all the responses, whatever is needed. This means it's really good at understanding whatever question you are asking, and it is also really good at responding to them also. And on top of that, it can also hold the conversations. You can have conversation also with it. So basically, it is really good in understanding questions. Okay, it's really having a very good capability to understand all your questions. And on top of that, it can also be able to respond in a better way to all your question. And it can also be able to hold whatever the conversations which you want. That's it. So these are the three key things which we should be knowing about. And who developed this? Who, like, whose product is ChatGPT? A company or an organization here called as the OpenAI. OpenAI as an entity or an organization is responsible for creating this ChatGPT. Okay, so that is the very important point which every one of you should be aware about. So many people they are not aware like who developed this ChatGPT. Basically, whatever ChatGPT today is present, it is being created by the OpenAI. That is an entity or an organization which it has created. Okay, and the very purpose of the ChatGPT here is not only ChatGPT, you take any LLM tools. Okay, today it is very popular. It is only reason is because of it can be able to understand the natural language like English. You can ask any question with regards to it. It will be able to go ahead and respond to you. Okay, whatever way you want, it will be able to go ahead and respond in a better manner for all of you. So once it gives you the response, okay, once it goes ahead and gives you the response like a human like text, right? So that you can get all the responses in a language which you all can understand it. It can help you in conversations. It can also respond to whatever questions you're asking. That is the beauty of the chat GPT as of today. Okay, so that is what we have it. Now let's go into ChatGPT tool. Let's try to understand that how ChatGPT tool will look like, how the interface will look like, and what are all the different things which are available in ChatGPT. Let's have a look into all of those things right now, and then I will give you quick 2 to 3 minutes of time for you also to explore the same. Okay, I'll go ahead and quickly open the ChatGPT. So give me 1 minute. Let me quickly open my ChatGPT for all of you. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now here is let's go and say chat GPT, that is chat.openai.com. Okay, so this is the URL. Let me put it over the chat also for all of you. Okay, which is your chatgpt.com. Okay, so if you see here, right, this is basically your chatgpt.com. I mean, I've just shared the URL for all of you to access the information, whatever you want. So chatgpt.com, the moment you log into your chatgpt.com, right, the very first thing which it is going to ask you here is to log into your account. There are two ways. One, you can log in through your Gmail account. If you have your Gmail account available with you, right, you can continue with your Google Gmail account where it will allow you to log in through that. If not, you need to create a new account in ChatGPT. Either of the ways. You can log in with your account in ChatGPT, or what you can do here is you can be able to create a new account in ChatGPT and can do either of the ways. Either through Gmail you can do, or either by creating your own account. That is up to you. Once you come into your chatgpt.com, right, you can see this is how your interface will look like. What can I help with? If you see here, right, this is how, what can I help with? So you can ask any question over here. You see, ask ChatGPT anything, right? You have the capability to go ahead and ask any question over here, which we will do later. Right now, the demo is only about the tool. Okay, the demo is all here about the tool, but when we start writing the prompt or the text, then we will start writing it over here. Okay, so like for an example, I can say, hi, chat GPT. Okay, that's how it is going to be. Hi, chat GPT. Okay, and you can upload any image. If you have any files or anything, if you really want to attach, you can always be able to do that. Okay, at any point of time, if you are interested to go ahead and attach any of the files, right, so you can just click on this and can attach the files if you want to analyze any of the file. This is a web. If you want to search anything from the web, that is from internet, you can also be able to do that. And towards the left hand side, you will have all the conversations. So whatever conversations you are going to do, okay, in the class, everything will be registered over here in the left hand side, right? This is all your entire chat towards the left hand side. Okay, and I mean, whatever conversations you keep doing, everything will be stored. It's not like it will delete it, everything it's going to store it in the chat history. Okay, and then whenever you want to create a new chat, here there is an option to create a new chat. The moment you click on it, it will always go ahead and create a new chat for you. Let me say you are already in one of the existing chat, but you want to change the chat. I mean, you want to enter a new chat and go and do everything over there. So just click on the new chat option. It will give you the possibility to create a new chat. And from there, you can be able to move further. I mean, whatever you want, you can just see. When I click on new chat over here, every time it is going to pop up a new chat for me. Okay, and then apart from this, I would be able to, I mean, this is a very basic and a common tool, which I would say that you will automatically get to know when we start implementing it in a, while running some queries or prompts. And towards the right hand side, you have settings in your profile, right? You have settings present. Please go to settings. And if you want to delete all your chats, okay, by chance, if you want to go and you're not interested to have your chat anymore, then you have an option to here delete all chats. If you want to log out, you can log out from here. If you want the theme to be changed, okay, so if you don't like a white color, you can always prefer a dark background. Okay, you can always change the theme from here. If you want a lighter background like this, so it's up to you. I mean, what I'm trying to let you all know here is you have multiple backgrounds being present here, and then you can be able to play around with it in whatever way you want it. Okay, so that's just the point which I would be able to let you all know here. So the thing which I would just say to all of you here is you have the theme present here. Okay, where you can just see that you can prefer any of the theme, either dark or light. Light is something which we are seeing right now, but if you want a dark theme, then you can select dark and make the theme a little darker over here. Okay, and if you want to delete any point of time your chat, you can delete. If you want to archive your chats, you can do archive it, or you can also log out. That's up to you. Okay, but this is how your chat GPT basically looks like. And then towards the left hand side, you see here there are versions of ChatGPT. Okay, 4.0, the Omni model, is something which you need to pay. You cannot use it. If you have a paid version, then you can be able to use the 4.0. Okay, So Omni version, which we call it as like this. If you see, there are more models: GPT-4 legacy model, GPT-4o mini. Okay, I think for free you can use all of them, and then you have O1 mini. These are different versions of the like Chat GPT. Okay, these are different versions of ChatGPT which are provided to all of you, where you can choose the version like basically which is free of cost, where you don't need to pay anything. GPT-4o, I think we need to pay some 20 or $22 per month if you want to utilize it. But otherwise, remaining models is for coming for free of cost. You can select any one model and can start asking questions over there. But now we are not asking any questions. Whatever exploration we are currently doing is to understand how the GenAI tool would actually look like. That is what we are trying to learn right now. Okay, the understanding right now, what we are going to have here is how is that this GenAI tool is actually going to look like. So that is the primary focus which we are trying to target over here, if I would say. Okay, so this is the clarity which I would suggest to all of you, that this is how the tool is going to look like. So now I'm going to give you all 3 minutes of time. Please open chatgpt.com, log into your account, go through how your chatgpt will look like, see whether it is giving you ask chatgpt anything or not. Okay, go to your profile, go to settings, play around with the settings, see whether you can change the theme or not. Okay, and just see whether all these features are available or not for you. And then you can see whether if there are any versions like whatever I'm able to show you, whether these versions are available for you or not. Check it out, the free version like GPT-4 and all, you can start utilizing that. And then you have an option here to create a new chat. Okay, and then you should be able to see if you have already done previous conversations with chat gpt, you will see the chat history present here. If it is the first time, you will not see any chat history towards the left hand side. When we start implementing, then automatically you will see the chat history is going to come towards the left hand side. You can ignore all of them. If anybody is thinking why I'm not seeing all of these things, these are different. Okay, this is not needed for you. Just whatever I've explained to you, that much is needed. And start like some text like this, see that whether if the text is visible or not. And then see whether attach. I think for free you cannot attach. If you are using ChatGPT for free, you cannot use it. So just check all these features. I'm giving you around 3 minutes of time. Check all these features, then we will proceed further. Okay, then we are going to proceed further and we'll see what we need to do next. But until then, please complete off the task, okay, which I have given right now to explore everything. Okay, hope you all were able to open the ChatGPT tool from your end. Okay, like where we understood like how the ChatGPT tool would basically look like. Okay, hope that you all got a chance to go ahead and then open the chatgpt.com and whatever I have explained to you. And I'm assuming that you all have explored the things which I have said to you. Okay, now what is that I'm going to do here to all of you is, okay, let's do a small hands-on activity before we end the session for today so that you would feel really valuable that whatever we discussed till now, along with some practical part for the last half an hour, that is going to give a good combination for all of you to also practice. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is let's try to quickly open the uh, whiteboard and let me quickly connect to it so that we can just quickly see what are all the things which the chat GPT can basically be able to do it for us. Okay, that's something which I'm going to explain to all of you right now. So first you have to understand what is the capability of the chat GPT. Then accordingly, we will see how and all we can be able to derive or get all the results which are actually needed for us. Okay, so now when you see or like we are talking about the chat GPT continuously, right? So when you talk about the chat GPT in a let me say in a very continuous pattern, okay, so what is that we are trying to learn from there? That is the first thing. See, as I said you, ChatGPT is giving you a medium where you can ask any questions at any point of time. See, question means it's not like you can go ahead and ask at any point of time whatever you want it. Okay, it has a capability. Like when you talk about the ChatGPT here, it has a types of output. Whatever types of output it can provide you. Okay, what are the different types of output? It is basically going to provide you. First, you can always create a checklist. From ChatGPT, you can always create a type called as a checklist. Then you can always create a scorecard. You can always create a scorecard from the ChatGPT. Then you can always create a type JSON data, which is a structured format for storing all your data, which is used by computers, which is called JavaScript object notation. Your ChatGPT will always give you a tabular type of an output where it can create a table and can give you the response. And then your ChatGPT can always be responsible for generating the code. The type of output can be code, any programming scripts or code you can be able to ask. Your ChatGPT can also be able to give you CSV file for storing the data like an Excel sheet and all. And then it can also be able to give you the type of data called as XML, which is a way to store and organize data, which is very much used in web application. When you develop the web application, there you can store it. It can also give you the data in the form of output YAML, which is a simple data format used for all the configurations. It can also give you the data in the form of UML, okay, where this is meant for all the diagrams. And then it can also be able to generate the photo or images. It can also be able to generate the graphs. Type of output can be graphs, which is a visual representation of all your data. And it can also be able to give you different types of colors, which you can use for designing and branding. These are the different types of outputs which your chat GPT is currently capable of. Okay, it can create a checklist, it can create a scorecard, it can create a JSON, tabular, code, Excel sheet, XML, which is needed for the websites, web applications, YAML for configuration files, UML, where you can create the diagrams for the software development and for designs. You have the photo, where you can create an AI generated images. And then you have a graph where you can have the visual representation like charts and plots. And then you have different colors where it is needed for designing and branding. These are the different types of outputs as of today which ChatGPT can be able to provide us. Okay. Now we are going to see this practically. Like not only this, way beyond this, ChatGPT can be able to provide. But these are the core things. So now what I'm going to do here is we will just have a quick look into how it is going to work. Like one by one, I'm going to take. Okay. First, I want to create a checklist. So let's go to our chat GPT. So you got an understanding, right? What are the different types of outputs which you can generate from chat GPT? So now I'm going to run a basic text and see whether it is giving us checklist, like whether it's able to go ahead and give us a checklist appropriately or not. So let's go and have a look into it. So I'll say create a checklist for what we can say. Okay, for launching a new website. Okay, I want to launch a new website. Okay, so like just go ahead and create a checklist for launching a new website, including I also want to include testing and security. Okay. So I'm saying here very clearly, please go ahead, create a checklist for launching a new website, including testing and security steps. Let's see what checklist it is going to create for me. Okay, it's creating the checklist. If you see here, right? First, pre-launch checklist for a new website. It says development and content readiness. Okay, it says whenever you are going to develop it, so you have to please be careful with ensure that all the pages are developed as per the wireframe or design. Verify whether the website is mobile friendly or not. Okay, and see whether all the images are optimized for the web or not. Test all internal and external links. Check for any placeholder content and remove it. Verify that any metadata is present or not, like title and descriptions. Ensure that all font, color, brand, everything is consistent. Check for any spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes and read whether if all the content is appropriate or not. This is for development. Then for functionality testing, again it's saying that, hey, check for any link if it is breaking or not. Ensure the search functionality whether everything is working correctly or not. Okay, ensure if there is any captcha present or not. Test any social media sharing buttons, if it is clicked on it whether it is redirecting to social media or not. Performance optimization, see whether browser cache is enabled or not. You okay, all these things if you see, right, these are all like what I'm trying to let you all know is not the content. What I'm trying to make you understand here is it is creating a checklist. Okay, it's going and creating a checklist where you can always go ahead and be able to implement it. See, these are all are your checklist and you can always create a checklist like this and can be able to see the responses appropriately. Okay, so now this is like a industry checklist. But now, as I know that many of you are from the academics, right? So what I can do, I'm just going to say in the academics perspective, create a checklist just to give you an idea. Okay. Create a checklist for teachers to prepare. What I can say, okay, to prepare for a new academic year. Okay, include I want to include whatever you want to include. You can say include the curriculum planning and the classroom setup. Okay, just I'm taking it up. So create a checklist for teachers to prepare for a new academic year, include curriculum planning and classroom setup. See, teachers checklist for preparing for a new academic year, curriculum planning. So first review the syllabus and align with academic standards. Update the lesson plans with new teaching strategies and activities. Organize learning materials, textbook, digital resource worksheets. Plan assessments, quizzes, projects, exams, and grading. Identify the key learning outcomes and objectives for each subject or topic. If you really want to plan your curriculum in a better way, these are the suggestions which your chat GPT is giving you. Integrate some technology like Google Classroom, EdTech applications, LMS platform. Plan projects or collaboration with other subjects. Prepare a reading list and recommend the additional resources. Schedule the guest speakers like me, anybody who can be able to come and give some lectures or some latest technologies from industry so that people can be able to get it. Okay, field trips, special events, review the past feedback and always refine and improve the lesson delivery. See, so nicely it is able to go ahead and give you everything. Okay, if you see, this is curriculum planning, like where you can plan your curriculum in a better manner. Let me say how much your mind can be able to remember. I know in this, hardly 5 or 10 points you already know, but at right point of time, when somebody asks, hey, how I can prepare curriculum, I have to bang my head and think, oh, I forgot this. I was thinking about something, but I just forgot. No need of all these things. No need of all of these things. Everything, just go to ChatGPT, say create a checklist for teachers. Okay, if you are a head of the department, or if you are one who has been given a charge to prepare a curriculum, what are all the things you need to take care of? So say create a checklist for teachers to prepare for a new academic year, include curriculum planning and classroom setup. Or let me say you are being given a subject. You can say create a checklist for a teacher to prepare for a new academic year, include AI. Okay, include AI as a curriculum planning and classroom setup. You have to add the subject. See here, classroom setup. If you really want to set up the classroom, arrange the desks so that proper engagement and interaction can be done. Set up a very welcoming environment. Organize boards, some motivational quotes. Okay, label and organize the classroom, stationery, books, teaching aids. Check and prepare audio visuals, projector, whiteboard, speakers if it is working or not. Create a designated area for students to access any learning materials. Establish a classroom library with age appropriate books. Display classroom rules, schedules, and emergency procedures. Ensure a clean and clutter free space for students. Set up the student seating chart. See, so nicely everything is giving you. Prepare a welcome message or letter for students and parents. Plan an activity for the first day. Icebreaker activity means like any games. Establish classroom rules. Set up a student reward and recognition system. Plan the strategies for different instructions. Organize the group activities and peer learning strategies. Develop a communication plan with parents. Set up a virtual classroom. So nicely, everything is giving. Okay. I mean, everything, whatever you want, first day preparation, everything it is giving you. Okay. So, I mean, such a good thing it is. Okay. I would just say now create a checklist. Okay. Create a checklist for teaching the any one subject like GenAI. Okay. For teaching the generative AI subject. Let's see what this is going to do. Like what all points are needed over here, let's understand. See, checklist for teaching the generative AI subject. First, course preparation and planning. Define the course objective. Structure the syllabus into theory, practical, and case studies. Search the relevant textbooks, research papers, and online resources. Identify if there are any prerequisites like Python or machine learning or deep learning. Plan for hands on labs, coding exercises, and projects. Design quizzes and assessments. Integrate industry case studies. Prepare a list of AI tools and frameworks. Okay, now see, it has started breaking curriculum. Okay, like introduction to GenAI. In that, what you have to put? Define GenAI, differentiate discriminative generative model. Okay, neural network, deep learning. Okay, transformer models. You see that, right? Like everything in this case is being prepared and it is giving you. Like this is your I mean, what do we call, checklist, which you can go through and can have a look into it. Like in this way you can ask your chat gpt to create a checklist based on whatever subject. I mean, see, I'm talking very related to academics because maybe this will be very much useful for you. Otherwise, I have a lot of case studies for checklist. Okay, but it should suit the audience who are being present here, right? See, industry one, I discussed at the top. This is the one. But I don't know how many of you would be able to get it. But still, I just did it. Because if you really want to launch a new website, create a checklist like what are all the things I have to take care of, including testing and security steps. So I was able to do that now. Okay, checklist for a new website and all. After that, we moved towards where you all are majorly focused upon, academics. Okay, then I said create a checklist for teachers to prepare for a new academic year, include curriculum planning and classroom setup. So it's able to go ahead and give me some ideas on how a curriculum can be handled. Then we were able to go ahead and say create a checklist for teaching the generative AI subject. Then it started giving some checklist that what are all the things you have to consider if you really want to go ahead and become a generative AI expert, or as a professor or associate professor if you want to deliver it to your students within your university. So this is how you have to create a checklist. Okay, this is the pattern in which you can always be able to go ahead and can create a checklist. Okay, and can be able to play around with it. So we are done with checklist over here. Okay, next would be scorecard. Okay, so scorecard will be the last topic for today. Remaining types of output, we will take it up in the next session. Okay, now let's go to the scorecard. So I wouldn't be going it in the, I don't want to do it in the same chat. You know why I don't want to do it in the same chat? The only reason is because if there are any existing conversation, like I'm conversating here saying, like I want a respective, let me say, checklist. Now when suddenly I say I need a scorecard, it may get confused, so I don't want to do it here where I'm trying to work upon. So what I will be doing, I'll simply create a new chat here. I'll create a new chat. Okay, now what I will do, my focus is on scorecard. So I will say generate. Okay, I will just say in this case generate a performance. Okay, I will say here generate a performance scorecard template for evaluating employees. Okay, based on productivity. This is industry application. Okay, based on productivity, teamwork, and innovation. Okay, so generate me a performance scorecard template for evaluating the employees based on the productivity, teamwork, and innovation. Let's see what it is going to do for me. See, so wow, right? it's just going and creating some really cool and good stuff, if I would be able to say to all of you. Such a cool thing is currently happening. Okay, see, a form has been created. If you see in this case, this is your form. You would have taken a Word document, okay, type it, and then do it. Performance scorecard template, employee name, employee ID. In industry, this is department, evaluation period, evaluator name. Performance evaluation criteria, productivity 40%. Okay, criteria, how you are delivering the work, what whether you are meeting deadlines. If it is excellent, 10, good 8, average 6, needs improvement, poor, and total score here. Accuracy and quality of the work, time management, how we are doing, initiative and responsibility. Then teamwork here is 30%. Okay, what are the criteria? How you are communicating? What are the collaboration with the team members? How we are resolving the conflicts? Whether you are providing support and assistance, adaptability, innovation, how much innovative you are. 30% weightage is given to it. Problem solving skills, creativity and new ideas, process improvement, how we are doing with the learning and skill development, like overall performance. How we can assess your productivity, how we can assess your teamwork, how you can assess your innovation, and then the total score out of this. So that is how finally evaluator will give the comments and feedback, evaluator comments and acknowledgement, evaluator will sign it, employee signature and date. See, simple. It was able, this is how you can generate one entire performance scorecard template and can be able to move ahead with it. Okay, this is how in industry it works. Now for an example, if I would say here, if I would say, okay, generate. Now it is towards academics. Okay, I would say generate what I can say. Okay, student. Okay, so generate a student performance scorecard template. Okay, including categories, whatever categories you want. Okay, including categories for attendance, whatever I can recollect. I'm saying okay, attendance, what all we do in engineering, assignments, exams, and participation in certain tech fest and events, whatever we do, right? So generate a student performance scorecard template, okay, including the categories for attendance, assignments, exams, and participation. Okay, let's see now what it is going to do for us. See, if you observe here, you don't need a Word. You don't need a Word document here. It is creating the document. You may ask me, can I download it? Yes, see here. In this case, right, when you click on it, okay, it is giving you an option to copy and paste it directly in the Word document. Okay, or otherwise you can be able to go ahead. Okay, here there is an option to save. You can also be able to save the document instead of not to copy. Okay, see, student scorecard is preparing now. See, student scorecard is ready. So first, student name, student ID, class or grade, evaluation period, instructor name. Now attendance is given 20% weightage. Class attendance, how it is, how you are punctual, subtotal, total how much we need to give. Assignments 30%. Assignment completion, are you doing it on time? How is the quality of the assignment? Timely submission. Okay, exams 40%. Quiz performance, midterm exam, final exam. Class participation, engagement in discussions, asking and answering the questions, group activities, whether you are participating in everything or not, then overall score. Ultimately, any comments or feedback, students' comments and acknowledgements, sign it, and then you can send it off. Okay, just with one simple thing, when I said generate a student performance scorecard template, include categories for attendance, assignments, exams, and participation, it just within a fraction of seconds, it created a document for me. Now, you may ask me, can I be able to do it in my own way? Yes, you can. You can just say generate a student performance scorecard template. That is a common one. Including the categories is up to you. You want attendance, you want assignment, you want any other categories you want to add it. That is totally your call because you are working in academics. You are pretty much more aware than me how it works in academics and all. But you can be able to add all of them over here and can make it much, much enriching. Okay, but whatever I could recollect, I was able to put categories so that you all can correlate it in a better manner when we talk about the academics. Okay, so this is the point which I just want to make sure that you all should be pretty much aware about. Okay, yeah, that's it for the today's session. So today, like again, we completed right now checklist and scorecard. Tomorrow, when you come back, we will start the hands-on activity by completing what is JSON, tabular, code, CSV, or whatever types of output which are present, right? We are going to work on all of them. Okay. So yeah, with this, we are done with our today's session, everybody. So we completed today the AI, ML, DL, and as well as we also covered the deep learning generative AI. And apart from that, we went into conventional AI. We understood what is generative AI, and then we moved towards the chat gpt, understood how the chat gpt tool looks like, and we already started learning what are the different types of outputs which chat gpt provides. And in that, we already completed the hands-on activity for checklist and scorecard. So please keep practicing. Tomorrow we will be able to move further with the remaining concepts, everyone. Okay, keep learning, and that is going to help you out in all different ways. Okay, so with this, I wrap up the session for today. Thank you all for your participation. Okay, so let me see if Shushmita or anybody from XLR team.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm there. So yeah, like actually there are the questions from the faculty members. So we do have 5 minutes, like 4 minutes more. If you have any questions to be asked, you can ask down. So sir will address related to the subject and I will address related to the LMS. Okay. We'll wait for 3 to 4 minutes so they can ask the questions. So you are asking about the attendance, day one attendance. As yesterday we already informed in LMSKT, so that attendance will be active for only for 1 hour. That will be for 4:30 to 5:30. So yesterday's attendance we are not able to share it. Okay. So kindly like mark your attendance without any fail every day. Okay. So yesterday's attendance we are not able to share. So today's attendance I'm sharing once again on the chat. Kindly mark your attendance. Don't miss the attendance. As you all know, 60% attendance is very mandatory to get a certificate. So, Prashant sir, there is one question which has been asked from the faculty member. That is how to create a research paper with the help of ChatGPT. Can you please answer for this? They're asking this question repeatedly.
So for creating the research papers, we will be able to go, not right now because we are on the day two, but I will explain when we move little further, when you are very much aware about the ChatGPT tool, right? We will discuss, but I will suggest these days, if anybody is using ChatGPT for research papers, which is very renowned, right? Their papers are getting cancelled. So, but I will show you that approach for sure, but just you can be a little bit more cautious about it. Okay, but yeah, we will discuss not right now, Sushmita, for sure. We will discuss that a little later when we proceed further on the day tomorrow or day 4. We will discuss. There is an
Yeah, sure.
extension which you can add in ChatGPT and can do research. Okay, just we need
Yeah,
to wait.
okay. Yeah, sure. So, do you have any questions to be addressed?
Accessing the LMS, Vinita, I think maybe Sushmita will help you out in that. Okay. If you could shed some light on the role of mathematics in GenAI, your expertise would to understand how mathematical concepts contribute to the development and functionality of AI systems. Like how Max is involved in GenAI, right? I mean, we can discuss, but that's a very core part of the GenAI. Mm, Okay. If we need, we will discuss about that. Okay, just remind me in the upcoming session, I'll say, but at a very high level, because that's not something which is required for everybody, because that's a little bit like in-depth concept for it. So, but yeah, we'll try to discuss that later. Okay. Thoughts on deep seek? Yeah, we'll discuss that in going further. Okay. So yeah, just remind me that Vishwakarma deep seek part. Okay, we will discuss about it.
Okay,
The same
so
only, Kirti. Yeah, sorry, just last one, last minute.
yeah, sure, sir. No.
Difference, yeah, difference between Copilot and ChatGPT is it's a product from Microsoft. Copilot is ChatGPT is a product from OpenAI. But ChatGPT has a lot of data with which it has trained, so obviously it will give you the best result. Copilot, it is little nominal when you compare with ChatGPT is less than 0.0001% only, but both of them are meant for the same thing, Kirti. Okay. How do we know if we can get any mail? This particular mail is generated by AI or human? Through experience only. Or otherwise, you can use some platforms like Zero GPT, Zero, ZERO. Zero GPT is one of the tools, Sayed. You can use that and can identify whether it is coming from AI or from anybody else. But otherwise, through experience. If you know multiple messages, how ChatGPT works, by seeing that also, you can detect it. These are the only two ways. Okay. So remaining, we will be discussing all the remaining fine tuning, how to create images, all these things will be covered later. We are only on the day two. So when we proceed further, we will cover the remaining topics. Okay? Sure. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Over to you, Shishmita.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable class. We'll meet again by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, dear faculty members, like you're asking about the about the LMS, as you all are asking for the recordings of day one, which is already updated on LMS. You can just check it over there. Every day the recording will be visible. I'm unable to access LMS. So Raghavendra, so Rajendra, whatever the issue you have, kindly drop a mail to edl@xlr.com. We will clear it all. edl@xlr.com. Just texting this mail ID on the chat. Does edl@xlr.com. Okay, I hope we are done for the day. So yeah, thank you all. Thank you for joining this wonderful session. We'll meet again by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day.